Hi there! In this video, I'm going to tell you the best thing that Elektron ever made, and 5 reasons why I think that it still makes the Octatrack stand above the Digable in 2025. But first, I have a small confession to make, and that is that I just love the Elektron Octatrack. It's just a sampler like no other, and if I had to compare it to something like a game, for example, I'd say it's both a Rubik's Cube and the GTA 5 of the sampler world. In that it's a nerve-wracking puzzle that requires your full attention, as well as also being this sprawling sandbox of just boundless joy where anything goes if you're creative enough. I like to point out that Elektron is not sponsoring this video. All of my opinions here are my own. This video does have a sponsor, and it's the good folks at Sweetwater, but more on them a bit later. At this point in time, the Elektron sequencer is well known and pretty much established as one of the most powerful sequencers out there. And lots of people own a Digitact or a Digatone just as much for the sound design capabilities as for the sequencer itself. Though its power is undeniable, the Elektron sequencer itself is by no means unique anymore though, and nowadays you can find similar functions in dedicated sequencers like the Oxy One and the Hapax, as well as an all-in-one groove box like the OPXY or the Deluge. However, there is one feature left on the Octatrack that no one has bothered to copy or imitate, and to me at least, it's the one defining feature of this device that makes it stand out above the rest, and is by far the greatest thing that Elektron have ever made. And I'm talking, of course, of the Octatrack slider. If you're not at all familiar with what the slider is or what it does, let me briefly explain. The Octatrack has a ton of parameters that allow you to mangle your samples. Things as simple and rudimentary as amplitude envelopes and audio effects, to more complex settings like LFOs and retrigger options. All of these parameters can be locked into a step, something called step parameter locking, which is pretty common nowadays in most advanced sequencers. But they can also be locked into a scene. Scenes are a collection of these parameter settings that can be assigned to either scene A or scene B at opposite ends of this slider. And now I'm going to tell you 5 reasons why this system is just plain genius. Number 1, the land between. One of the greatest joys of sampling and sound design in general are the sounds that you find when you're not actually looking for them. The Octatrack is a veritable goldmine of improbable and impossible ear candy, thanks to its ability to morph between states smoothly, mixing scenes in the transition and giving you access to weird and wonderful happy accidents that you couldn't really find in many other places. When transitioning from scene A to scene B, the Octatrack has a surprising range of settings in its path between the mixes of parameters, with a level of resolution that is hard to believe that's coming out of a 15-year-old machine. Much like the DJ tables that it draws inspiration from, the slightest shift in position can give you tape repeats, scratching vinyl sounds, or just simply transform a piano into an unidentifiable texture. One of the greatest pleasures of playing with the Octatrack is exploring what a sound can become when you stretch it and twist it far enough. I want to take a brief moment to thank today's sponsor, Sweetwater. Sweetwater is one of the world's biggest dealers in all things music production related and have a huge variety of synths, guitars, mics, pro audio gear, you name it. Sweetwater's got you covered with excellent customer support and international shipping. When you buy your next synth at Sweetwater using one of my affiliate links down below, you also support my channels. Thank you so much, Sweetwater, for sponsoring today's video and supporting me and other creators like me. Now, back to the video. Number 2, multiple scenes. Loads of them. For each bank, you are able to create 16 scenes, or states, that can be swiftly assigned to either button A or B by just pressing on which one you want. If you also factor in parts, of which you have 4 of, with 16 scenes each, you actually have 64 scenes per bank. And considering that you have 16 banks, well basically, you get a shit ton of scenes that you can create per project. I usually have trouble filling out just one set of 16, let alone 64. The sheer amount of scenes available for you to set up is insane, and it makes the Octatrack a powerful performance tool. Number 3, replayability. The Octatrack was made for live performance, and improvisation and exploration are at its very core. But something I truly appreciate about the scene system is that it's possible to recreate a beautiful accident or a sound or a moment of the performance thanks to the scenes. One of my main gripes with many other performance group boxes like the SP404 for example, is that lots of times you're looking to get a certain effect to do something, and then when you go twist the knob a little too far or not enough, you get something completely different, and it might ruin just your entire performance or your recording. With scenes though, you know exactly where it's gonna go when you reach the limit of that slider, while also leaving enough room for the unexpected to have its own place there. Number 4, the smoothest transitions. The slider doesn't only work as a way of mangling and adding effects, it's also a great way to silence certain tracks and bring up new ones and create transitions and get your song moving. It can also be used to transition from a live audio bit that's incoming into the Octatrack that you're recording on the spot to then seamlessly move to the recorded bit without any glitches or anyone noticing. It gives you a certain confidence because you know what's going to happen, and if you learn it and practice it enough, it makes you feel like some sort of audio wizard. Finally, number 5. This thing can take a beating, and the thing does not break. I'm on my 3rd Octatrack right now, and I've never had an issue with my fader. This thing takes an astounding amount of abuse, especially when playing live and the adrenaline is on overdrive. You start really pounding this thing from side to side, and I've yet to break or damage one so far. It's a real testament as to why Elektron boxes are so highly regarded by professionals, and why you often see them on live performance stages all around. The slider is an iconic piece of the Octatrack, and it is by far my favorite knob or fader on any group box out there. If we ever do get to see an Octatrack 3 with a bunch of new features, better effects, capabilities, USB audio, you name it, I only ask that they keep the slider just the way it is, because it is as epic now as it was 15 years ago. Anyways, I just wanted to share a small part of what makes this machine so great for me. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, or at least entertaining. Have a great week. See you next time.